It's all channel members can call in and talk. Well, good Sunday afternoon, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. You know, it's kind of crazy. Went on vacation, and I think I need a vacation from the vacation. It's so hard after going on a little vacation, you know, between the 12 pounds I put on and everything else and the lack of moving, it's just like I feel like a slug instead of energized. What that tells me is I don't need vacation, but it feels so good to be back here because we didn't have a live stream last Sunday. We didn't have one Monday night. We didn't have one Friday night, and I've missed you guys, and I appreciate being back here. So let me bring in my Sunday crew. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, good people? How you doing? Chris May, looks like you're the first one here up on the board. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing excellent, Mark.
Well, that's great to hear.
What you're doing with the red house and the brick house and everything, that's cool.
Yeah, you know, I've really missed being at the red brick house because the red brick house, man, that's become literally part of me, and haven't seen it in over a week, and I'm just kind of like, man, I miss that place. We'll be going back down on Tuesday to get back working on it. I appreciate you following and everything else. You know, it's funny. What I wanted to talk about today was we hear so many people, the talking heads and everything else, about the Cowboys and the tiers, and you know they've got the Eagles, of course, first, and then the San Francisco 49ers second, and then the Cowboys third. You hear about all the quarterbacks and everything else. You know, you would think that the Cowboys are one of the worst teams in the league by the way they talk about them. Should we be an underdog? Should we be trashed as much as they're trashing us? Or is this actually a good thing because we don't have the target on our back?
I like being the underdog.
What's up, James Nooks? Appreciate the donation for Rashid. In fact, excuse me. For those of you guys don't know, you know, we've got the New York stinking Giant fan, Rashid. Okay. I know he's annoying. I know he gets on your nerves and everything else, you know, and he's delusional about his New York Giants, especially Daniel Jones, where he would literally take Daniel Jones over Dak Prescott. But Rashid is actually, he's in the hospital. He's got type 2 diabetes. He's had 3 of his toes amputated, and he also has kidney issues. And hopefully he gets out of the hospital tomorrow, but he's going through a whole lot and could use some help to get it back on his feet. No pun intended on that one. But I have to give a shout out because we've already raised since yesterday $875. And what we're going to do, because you guys are giving back, we're going to be giving back as well. So everybody who's done a donation and stuff on the GoFundMe page and things, we're going to do a drawing today, and we're going to do multiple drawings. We're going to give away this one. You see right there? Okay. Wait. Go this way. DeMarcus Ware. That's one of my prints. Okay.
The quarterback is
Who's
RG3 is tackling.
Okay. Oh, that's RG3 getting tackled. Okay. But I have some other ones. I have Diggs. I've got let's see who else we got. Tony Dorsett, Charles Haley, Michael Irvin and stuff. So everybody who does do a donation on there, I'm putting everybody's name into a bucket, and whenever anybody does one, I'll continue to add, and we'll continue to do drawings, and hopefully we can help a brother out and get back on his feet. So now that that's been said, back to the Cowboys. How you guys feel about what you've seen thus far in training camp, in OTAs, voluntary as well as mandatory?
I'm excited. I like being the underdog. I like that there's more pressure on Philly than there is us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like it. I love it.
I agree with Nux. You know, I like being an underdog because, you know, hey, we're under the radar. And when it's all said and done, if everything go our way, we're going to be on top. So I'd rather be the underdog than, be in Philadelphia's situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure's on Philadelphia. It's not even on us. We don't have no pressure or nothing.
Philly and San Fran. It's on both of them.
Well, you know, it's funny because it seems to be that always every year there's always the hype team. And very rarely does the hype team do what everybody says. Last year, the hype team was Buffalo, right? Josh Allen and everything else. They got Von Miller and everything. They kind of, the funny thing to me is they lost the same weekend we did. Dak is ass and trash. Josh Allen's on the cover of Madden. Anybody else kind of find that kind of funny?
Let them have that curse. Let him have that curse. That's all that's got to say about that.
I agree with that one.
I thought for sure Jalen Hurts was going to be on the cover of Madden since, he's really overrated because how the talking heads just like overrate the guy all the time.
Well, I guess, if there's a Madden curse, I guess you don't want to be on that one. So maybe that'll be his excuse then this year if they don't perform. Rumor is that they may be looking still at Dalvin Cook or DeAndre Hopkins still. At least that was one of the articles. But then again, this is silly season where everybody is linked to everything. The thing that's going to be interesting to me is it's funny how just before somebody's released, there's the hype of all these teams that they're going to go to, and there's going to be this feeding frenzy. But this year, you look at this, and you still see, we thought Hopkins would be, signed in a few days. He's down in Tennessee today, right, Thomas?
Yeah.
I thought he was actually already been to Tennessee and was going tomorrow to New England. But
he came today.
But you think about Tennessee. What happened to the Buffaloes? What happened to the Kansas City? Tennessee is kind of rebuilding. You don't look at Tennessee right now and say that that's a team that's, headed for the playoffs and the Super Bowl. And New England, Mac Jones throwing to you?
Well, what I was told that he wanted to come to Tennessee because what I was told that he wanted to come to Tennessee because if y'all remember, him and Mike Vrabel had a close relationship. Mike Vrabel used to be an assistant coach at Houston when he was there. Mm-hmm. And, he wanted to see what was up there. And they said that once he left from Tennessee, he's going up to New England. And I was talking to a buddy of mine in church this morning. He's a real avid Tennessee Titan fan. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, Richard, if I was Adams family, I would make damn sure that D-Hop don't go anywhere. That's just me. Mm-hmm. That's just me.
Well, I think that ship has definitely sailed as far as the Cowboys go. I think actually the Cowboys quietly, think about this. Last year, remember the feeding frenzy on how much money was just being out there? My buddy Lawrence over here, who's a Denver Bronco fan, you were excited about having Russell Wilson coming last year, weren't you?
Yeah, but I'm still excited.
You're still excited? Or are you more hopeful?
I'm excited because he has a coach that knows.
I saw a broadcast that said that Hopkins was going to the Ravens.
Lamar Jackson wanted him to go there, but after they ended up getting Odell and signing Lamar Jackson, they really don't have the money for it. And you haven't heard anything more about that recently. But I'll also say, how does that Randy Gregory feel over there? for you, Randy Gregory?
Who?
You know what? He did sign that 4-year, $70 million contract. Okay. All right. So much for that. So that brings me, and I hate to make my buddy Lawrence over here the whipping boy and everything else. But here's the thing that's kind of funny. You remember, everybody was going out and they were signing all the big names, and everybody looked at the Cowboys and they're like, man, the Cowboys, they don't care about winning. The Cowboys are going to be ass going into the season. And here it was, they were 12-5, and they didn't spend a damn thing in free agency. They ended up looking at just drafting and being bottom tier shoppers, and ended up being, hey, Gina, what's up? Shout out to all the ladies that are in the house. What's up, Primetime? Roland's Review. What's up, Joanne Gonzalez? Everybody, I appreciate everybody being here. But But we didn't do jack, and yet we ended up being able to compete. And I almost feel like now the owners are kind of getting together and kind of saying, we're not going to spend a whole lot of money in free agency, because I think, isn't Hargrove probably the biggest contract this offseason? Shout out to Ruben Walls for the super chat. Am I wrong in that? I don't, and I think he was what, $80 million? I mean, Randy Gregory signed for $70 million, and he wasn't one of the big names out there being signed. Terry Lee, what's up, Terry? Shout out to Terry Lee on the super chat. So I think in some regards, other teams are looking at the Cowboys and saying they didn't go crazy on all these free agents and getting themselves in cap hell. Maybe there's something to that, because nobody is going crazy. I would have thought for sure that Hopkins would have already been signed by now by somebody. But if you're telling me that he's actually going to New England where Mac Jones is the quarterback, I mean, that's another ass quarterback like he's had all his career. And what if that one doesn't work out? Then where's he going to go?
I don't know. He might be one of those late pickups during the season, maybe.
For dirt cheap. He's looking for 15. I guarantee. I'd be surprised at this point if he gets over 10.
What about Minnesota? You don't think he looked good in Minnesota?
It's not a matter of if he looks good. Was Minnesota looking to sign him? That's the thing. We can say anybody look. I mean, he'd look really good here with the Cowboys, but it doesn't mean the Cowboys are going to sign him.
Right.
There's one thing of talking to somebody like Buffalo did and Kansas City did early to say, hey, you guys eat the contract and we'll give you a 7, then take him. They're not looking to say we're going to pay $15 million for him. And the same thing may be the case for Dalvin Cook as well. We heard all these, Miami is going to be in, the Cowboys might be in. It may be a tough market for him as well, the way that running backs have been devalued.
Are the Rams releasing Aaron Donald?
No. Hell no.
No. That's a
Aaron
future Hall
Donald's
of
going to
Fame.
finish his career with the lamb chops.
No, that would be the one player that they will hold on to is Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald ain't going nowhere. But they're basically in a rebuilding mode. I mean, you look at them, they've been cutting salaries and players left and right, but Aaron Donald won't be one of those. You hold on to him for as long as he wants to play. You don't want him to finish his career anywhere else. What's up, Miss Hot Sauce? Lola, how you doing? So I think actually the Cowboys, for me, I'm just excited about the defensive line, the defensive front. I look at this and the potential of this defensive line. My nickname is going to be the half ton of fun, because we can literally put a half a ton between 3 defensive linemen out there to stop the run. And I don't remember a defensive line for the Cowboys since the 90s that potentially has as much firepower as they do right now. I would say 2007, we had a really good defense. We had a lot of Pro Bowlers and stuff on there, and we had Jay Ratcliffe, who was playing at a Pro Bowl level on there, but I won't say across the board that we were that good as we have potentially right now. Anybody else agree or disagree with me on that one?
I don't know.
I totally agree with that, because you got Mozzie Smith, Hankins. It's so
you got OC and Digazua. You've got Quentin Bohannon.
Release.
Tariq McKinley, who really didn't hardly get on the field last year. I mean, he was one of those guys you forgot. It's like, oh, he's on the team, isn't he? Oh, I forgot about that guy. But we have so many edge rushers.
Receiver too from the Browns, or who was that guy that got in trouble? We released.
Oh man,
Callaway.
Yeah. That was so. That was just this past week when I was on the cruise, wasn't it? He was a practice squad guy that would have a hard time making the roster.
He wasn't gonna make the team, no way.
Yeah,
man. You know what though? These young guys that do something stupid like that, it's like, come on, get your heads out of your asses. You guys are young. Don't spoil it. You got an opportunity right here to turn your life around.
Yeah.
they just do something stupid.
Yep, that's the way it goes. I mean, and the thing is with him is driving on a suspended license. He had already had that happen when he was in Cleveland, and he had weed. He was possession of weed at the same time. Now you won't get busted for the weed now, but he did get suspended for 4 games because of that. So that should say, if I don't do anything else, I'm gonna make sure that I don't get caught driving on a suspended license. Because now you look like you're habitual, and that you just look like an idiot.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
If you're not driving, you still get suspended.
Yes, sir.
Arrested?
Really?
Yes, sir. If you
I
don't
never
pay,
heard of that.
the law is a bitch. If you're in a car, and if you're already on paper, they gon' and if you get pulled over, they gon' ask.
No, what it was is they had gotten him somewhere else. Okay, because I'm going to tell you, I can tell you from personal experience, because this is what was crazy. Michael and Michaela were probably about 6 and 4 years old, but they had like a seatbelt checkpoint. And I'm driving home. They stop everybody. They grab your license and everything else, and run it and make sure everything's cool. Got home the next day. I get a knock at my door. And it's the police, and they're like, "We're under arrest for driving on a suspended license." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? How are you going to come to my house and tell me I'm driving on a suspended license?" And they said, "Your license was suspended. You were at a checkpoint yesterday." Basically, the paperwork didn't catch up with it. It's not as fast as things are now. They took me down, ended up fingerprinting me and all that, had to talk to the magistrate, and was arraigned because it's a jailable offense. Turned out, the next day after that, I get in the mail that my license had been suspended by DMV, and I didn't know it. I go to court. The woman in front of me, when they talked to her, and she was, you got caught driving a suspended license, and he asked her, "Did you know you were driving a suspended?" She said, "Yeah, but I was only going around the corner, and the girl didn't know where the house was." And he said, "Did you know you were driving on a suspended license?" And she said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, you got 7 days in jail." And I was just like, damn. I got up and it was like, "Did you know?" And it's like, Your Honor, I didn't know. I said, "I got notification the next day in the mail," in which case I paid that $25 ticket that I didn't know about. And he said, "Well, I do see the cross line here. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt." And I was just like, damn, they don't play with that shit. So
they don't.
Nope.
So,
and in Callaway, when he got pulled over like that, he was in Miami.
Right. Yeah. And I was too. So, of course, we got trolls saying that Mark Holmes is the reason why he got. I was like, okay, here we go. Mark Holmes is the reason why he got busted on it. But he wasn't going to be fortunately, he wasn't going to be on the field for the Cowboys. The biggest worry still for me is I'm still worried about the offensive line. And I see Game Time. Did Game Time just come in the house?
I did. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, man. I'm glad to be back home here at the man cave. It feels so good to be down in my basement. My basement, not my mama's basement, not my mother-in-law's basement, but my basement. And talking with you guys and stuff. I'm still worried about the offensive line. When they said that Terrence Steele may not be ready to start training camp, the red flags started flying for me like crazy. Am I panicking too much already?
I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm not panicking, but that's the major concern. Listen, you talk about all the weapons we got, how great our defensive is, but I'm not panicking now. I know what they're doing, and we can get into it. I know exactly what they're doing. But that's the thing that needs to come together.
Yeah, well,
it needs to come together. So there's plenty of time. I like the pieces that we got, but that's not a strong suit of the team.
No, we thought the same thing last season, and look what happened. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, our line's going to be bad."
I'm not panicking, like I said, Loyal. I'm not.
Yeah,
I think
that's an area that I just think that's the area that needs to be worked on, right, guys? I mean, gals, everybody. That's the thing that needs to gel. And like if you gues saw, now they put Tyron back at left tackle this past week at the mandatory mini camp. Now, again, that's just to get Tyler some work at left guard.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be one of those deals where now they're going to go back to, well, we want the best 5.
Yeah.
So we'll see where each of them play. And it could ultimately be good in the long run, right? But I mean, I'm not going to sit here today and say I'm very confident. I'm just saying a lot needs to happen between now and game 1 in MetLife Stadium with our offensive line. That's all. That's all.
Yeah.
I think our line might be actually better. It all depends on how everything just goes. We got to see how they're going to do.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Play
it
calling.
could be better. And yeah, you guys go ahead. But I do think they could be better. I'm just saying that as we sit here today, there's a lot of work needs to be placed. They have a lot of pieces, but I didn't think their line play was very good last year. What do you guys think?
Last year, it wasn't. We were 28th in win percentage in pass blocking. Everybody. I'm the Dak Prescott fan. I'm the Dak Prescott defender and stuff. I'm old enough to remember, the days of after Troy Aikman and before Tony Romo, where we had some real bums. It was a great article that was in the Star, basically summing up all this stuff. We could be the Commanders, okay, with their situation at quarterback, which, from Donovan McNabb to now, Howe, that every year it's another 2 or 3 different guys that are in there that just can't bust a grape. We get a guy in the 4th round who has won 5th most games since 2016 that broke his thumb last year, and he's a bum now that's a turnover machine. He came back from a broken thumb, but be that as it may, our offensive line was not good last year. I don't care what, you look at the Eagles, they had the number 1 offensive line. Win percentage and pass blocking, Pat Mahomes' offensive line, number 1. We're 28th
in the house.
Okay,
exactly. That was
those things matter. Having time to throw the football matters.
Going with the West Coast,
and I'm going to get to that. What do you guys think? I know what they're going to do based on things I'm hearing. Like I kind of figured, it's going to be more. They're going to keep a lot of the offense that was in passing wise last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take out some of the bad plays.
Yeah.
And they won't be running up the middle every.
But do you know where the main change is going to take place? Do you know where the main difference? It's going to be the running game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing with the West Coast. It's going to be the running game is going to be the majority of the West Coast offense. Not that they're not going to run a lot of slants, maybe do less of the dig routes.
Yeah.
I told you before, Dak likes those 2-way plays. Some of the biggest plays of the year last year were on those 2-way plays.
Well, damn, Edward.
No, I'm sorry.
No, Edwin, I'm sorry, man. I know I'm boring you, but so it's going to be in the running game. It's going to be in the running game. That's where, and that's exciting to me, but just when Mark asked the question about the O-line,
I think it's going to be a lot of play action.
Yeah.
It just needs to come together. That's all.
And a lot of tight ends. Okay. We know
a lot of play action.
A lot of work with the tight ends. Mike McCarthy loves his tight ends.
I think it will be a faster offense.
Mm-hmm. Much faster. And that's what this is predicated on, is a lot of it is timing routes where it's like 1, 2, 3, fire. And you're going to be using the passing game, the short passing game, as part of the running game. And that's why you have more dynamic guys like Deuce Vaughn and, of course, Tony Pollard. Yeah. It's not going to be we're just man on man and just trying to run it right down your throat all the time. It's going to be misdirection. It's going to be quick hitting, and it's going to be trying to get the ball in people's hands in space and being quick hitting. With it being quicker hitting, then it helps the offensive line. But Brian, looking at what they've done, I think the Cowboys are, instead of looking and saying, okay, Tyron Smith is the left tackle and who's his backup, Tyler Smith is a guard, and then we have a guard that's a backup and a center and so on. They're trying to practice everybody in different locations. So, and this is kind of what I was saying, that why it's good to re-sign Tyron Smith if you can for the right price, is he's an insurance policy for Terrence Steele. So if Terrence Steele isn't ready, you can have Tyron Smith out there at tackle. until he is ready. In that way, we're not rushing back like we did with Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup probably would have been better off if it had been 3 or 4 weeks later had he gotten on the field to really get healed and to really get ready to play the season. But we rushed him back so soon, it stunted his development of coming back. And you can do that with Tyron Smith as long as Tyron Smith gets healthy. But if Tyron Smith gets hurt and Terrence Steele's not ready, we got a shit of problems.
Yeah, remember how much we heard about he's ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
this,
right.
That. I think they're being ultra cautious, Mark. But if we've learned anything last year from the Michael Gallup situation, you want to lean on the let's get this man right because we know that he could play
exactly
at Pro Bowl level.
Right.
This is what they're doing, Mark. I think that's what they're doing.
Well, and to me, what you ultimately want to have is you want to be strongest at the end of the season. So if it ends up being that Tyron Smith has to be right tackle for the first 3 weeks or something like that to let Terrence Steele get healthy, and then maybe you end up then switching, of course, him to left tackle, or maybe you just let him rest up. If Matt Lewinsky is as good as they think in that 6'8" body that he has, if he plays well at guard, if you're in that situation, then maybe you go ahead and say, big fella, we're going to rest you until we really need you and try and keep him healthy through the season. So I'd love to have a healthy Tyron Smith going into playoffs than to say, let's throw him out here and he's going to get injured again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I think this whole thing was they looked at the tape and they saw that the Cowboys were more than adequate in pass blocking last year. They really were. It was midway through the year when they couldn't run the ball. They could not run the ball. I mean, I think if you look at the numbers, I think like maybe 3/4 of the way, like after Thanksgiving on, we fell off the table. We could not run the ball. That's where this West Coast comes in. I think they just want to get it to the point where they could pass block.
Yeah.
He is going to be getting rid of the ball quicker. Like, I'm not sure who said it in the chat, but one of the guys said it. Loyal Cowboy, I think. But yeah, they're going to be getting rid of the ball faster. But they're not going to revamp the offense, which is good. I mean, as much as we all hate Kellen Moore, we can't sit there and say that nothing worked. Right?
No, we're not. But the thing with Kellen Moore, and you can look at Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan and everything else, it seems like they're always great in the regular season. But I don't know what happens when it comes to crunch time. All those 8-8 years where if we had won that last game, to me, that was a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like we would always shit the bed. We get to playoffs and all of a sudden things look different than they did before. You remember the year before, there was no 12 personnel when we played the 49ers the first game, in the playoffs. Where was hurry up offense? Where was actually moving the pocket? All those things that we had done that worked well, you didn't see them in the playoffs. And back to, after Thanksgiving, Zeke, remember he hyperextended that knee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he was never quite right after that. Now, I can say that that's an excuse for why he didn't have a great season, and I think he was a better back than he was. But the problem is now it's like Tyron Smith. You're constantly having these little breakdowns. You don't get better and stronger as a running back. You just get old and slower. And he does not have that burst anymore. People are still talking about, well, the Cowboys are bringing back, Des Bryant is still, you need to bring him back and this, that, and the other. The question is, if you bring back Zeke, do you change how you're running your offense? Because, as you put it, game time, this is going to be a different game plan of running the football.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily sound like what you've got with Zeke now. Yeah. Unless you're saying exclusively you're a battering ram. You're just our short yardage back. That's your role.
Yeah, well, did you hear the latest now? Now it's, which it makes no sense. It's just another example of when rumors fly. It's the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
When Dalvin Cook goes to Miami, then we're now going to trade for Raheem Mostert, okay? And I have nothing against Raheem Mostert, guys and gals.
He ain't trading for anybody.
But, he would be great. He's 31 years old, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into Raheem Mostert, versus Zeke Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to go that route, You already got Deuce Vaughn. You already got the Tony Pollard. Then bring the hell Zeke back, who already is a beast as a blocker. Like Mark said, use him in the fullback a little bit. Everybody's counting on this Hunter Lepke. He's a rookie. Sometimes these rookies, especially at the fullback, they don't come right in and dominate. So, if that's where you're gonna go, just bring Zeke back, swallow your pride, and bring him back. But I don't think we're there yet. But that's the latest rumor. So, it's. But mainly what we need to do is get our running game going again, scheme wise, and that's what I think the West Coast. Don't expect a total revamp. The Texas Coast, that's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays.
We can play on words and call it the Texas toast because they toast your ass. Let me give a couple of quick shout outs real quick here and thank yous for helping with the GoFundMe for Rashid. Rashida Green, shout out to her, just dropped $50 onto it. Terry Lee, super chat that's in here. Ruben Walls, super chat in here. Keith Beckham, shout out to you as well. Rhonda Lovely Sparks Green, shout out. Help me, Rhonda. And help me, she did. We have Ruben Walls, of course, who did. Bryce Chavel. I'm entering all of you guys, everybody who's done one of the super chats or has done the GoFundMe. We're going to be giving away to Marcus Wareside. Bryce Christine Reacher, that is Stewart's sister. Shout out to her. Adrian Parker. Eric Speaker, Mike Thomas, James Nooks, shout out to James Nooks, Troy Daniels, shout out to Troy. Troy's been having a hard time himself. Lola Cowboys, Miss Hot Sauce, Paula Bettis, shout out to her, William Verbelli, Reginald Darrett, and Rhonda Sparks. So shout out to all of you guys. We're going to be doing the drawing before the end of the show, and I'm hoping, I would love to get him to $1,000 before the end of the show. That would be great to go ahead and help him out. Hopefully he gets out of the hospital tomorrow, and we're working on finding him a place to stay as well.
Where's the GoFundMe page at?
The link is I've got it pinned at the top of the stream right there. It's pinned up there is actually the link, and I'll put it also too in the community tab as well. Ruben Walls, shout out to Ruben Walls. Add him in again. So it's a game time. Your only concern is like my concern really is that offensive line. Do we believe the hype on Jalen Tolbert and Semi?
Yeah, I do on Jalen Tolbert. I don't on Tony Fehoko. I'm not being negative. I just know what I know about a Jalen Tolbert. I've never been a big Semi Fehoko guy. Never. Yeah, he has all the traits, and he can do it, I guess. But he's been here longer, and he's from
this is shit or get off the toilet time now for him.
Tolbert, he did this going from the jump from high school to college, and he went to, remember, South Alabama. If he's going to start out slow at South Alabama, they're not exactly playing, the best of the best. But yet he was a man amongst boys by the time he left there. And the main thing is he's not thinking on the field. He's running. He's playing with speed, and he had multiple red zone touchdowns over the last couple weeks. That alone is leaps and bounds from what it was. The dude has grown into his body. If you look at him, I know people say, "Well, you play football. I don't care how you look." No, he had a college skinny body last year. Didn't know the playbook. Now he's running. He's playing fast. So I have high hopes for Jalen Tolbert. So,
AJ Brown, if Dak chokes again, we should release him. Okay. So let's say hypothetically you do that. I mean, because I hear so many of the Dak haters out there, don't give him any more money. Screw him. Just get rid of him and stuff. Then what's your solution? That's all I want to know is don't give me bullshit. Just release him, because I'd like to know where you're going to find a quarterback. Angel 59, shout out to you. Because seriously,
I'm going to come to this defense. This time last year, AJ Brown. This time last year, the Eagles weren't sure they had a quarterback. Okay, they weren't sure. They had a deal in place for Russell Wilson. They were
Right.
trading multiple picks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They had a deal in place. Russell said he didn't want to come to Philly. Just a year prior. Okay. Last year, this time. Shout out to him for having a good year. But remember, he went to Tampa and the Eagles got their doors blown off. I keep bringing it up, but I got to defend myself. I got to defend our squad. And Jalen Hurts played like ass.
Mm-hmm.
As Dimes, he cut on Dimes 25, Shady McCoy would say. Jalen Hurts played ass in Tampa, and they wanted to get rid of him last year. Shout out to them. They put a great team around them, hit a home run on everything, and now he was
that makes a difference.
Runner-up. Dak's had one bad year. Do it for multiple years.
Okay, he had one bad year and still averaged 30 points a game. And you can't look and say, the receiving core that we had were wanted all over the place. Would Noah Brown be a starter on any other team last year?
Nope.
Hell no.
Would Michael Gallup been a starter on another team last year in the shape he was in?
Nope.
No.
Okay, I'm just checking. But people will say, well, you're just defending that garbage ass quarterback. No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious on that one.
He wasn't another level last year this time, though. He's had one good year. That's
and
what I'm
nobody
saying,
and nobody is going to talk about him having
Why are we looking at
a metal plate holding his thumb together.
Yeah, this thumb was broken.
Okay.
He wasn't healed yet either.
I don't
I'm
understand,
sorry,
man. What Dak was a fourth round quarterback, right?
Yes, he was drafted in the fourth round.
And you compare him to Mark Jackson, the quarterback in Buffalo.
I'm sorry. How many playoff games has Lamar Jackson won?
I'm not even talking about.
I'm sorry. How many Super Bowls has he won?
He has to be ashamed of himself.
None.
One playoff win.
What's wrong with him, though?
Ass.
Okay.
What stats he talking about?
When we talk about, oh man, if we just had Justin Herbert, what has Justin Herbert done in the playoffs?
Nothing.
Right?
He choked away a lead. That's what he did.
So I'm sitting here. Shout out to Devin Stevens, 33 months as a tailgate member. Appreciate you. I'm just but even
he's the cover of Madden.
But what has Josh Allen done? They did get to the championship game one time, but you look at it, the way they hype him, they lost the same weekend we did last season, and they were a Super Bowl favorite. Everybody looked at the Cowboys at the end of preseason. But the Cowboys are ass. The Cowboys don't care about football. They're going to be losers. Hell, the Giants may be better than them. The Commanders with Carson Wentz. Now they've got a real quarterback. Look, everybody's laughing in my house. Now that the Commanders have a real quarterback and stuff. Oh, man. Remember that?
Mark.
Yeah.
Mark. Let me put some common sense in your head.
Uh-oh.
Who
Go ahead.
bring in the money?
Say that again?
Who bring in the dead presidents?
Oh, the Cowboys and Dak Prescott.
That's the reason why they talk about it so much.
Yeah, nobody cares about these other quarterbacks in other teams. Nobody gets scrutinized. When do you see the play breakdowns that they do with Dak Prescott? And it's not easy to go ahead and find as much stuff as they do. If you scrutinize other quarterbacks like that, come on, man. Josh Allen had quite a few pick sixes. I believe in overtime he had a pick six or had an interception in the end zone in overtime when they could have won the game. Right?
Facts.
He covered Madden. Matthew Stafford had more pick sixes. He's, I think, third on the list of all-time pick sixes in the NFL history. And he played like ass last year, but he won a Super Bowl. And I'm kind of like, did they win the Super Bowl because of Matthew Stafford? Because it seemed like they had a whole lot of talent that they brought in. They already had a great receiving core, and then they go in and bring in Odell Beckham Jr. They end up bringing in Von Miller in the middle of the season. Of course, yeah. They had more talent on that team than anybody else.
It's a team game.
What is everybody gonna say if Dak wins the Super Bowl?
Oh, like I just said it'll be the team or the defense.
Oh yeah,
it'll be something.
The team carried Dak Prescott.
I wouldn't even care what they say.
I know, I don't care either. I'm just gonna shove it in her face. But it's a team game. It's no surprise that Jalen Hurts went from. It's no surprise that he went
Whoa.
from being replaced by Russell Wilson this time last year.
Well, damn. Okay.
To all of a sudden being, the top tier.
Yeah.
It's a team game, people. Offensive line, weapons, everything has to come together.
Game time, Brian, I'm gonna go ahead on and say it. When Dak won his first Super Bowl, if the first person come with that, hey, I'm just gonna tell him, hey, kiss Dak's black ass. Kiss his ass.
Whoa. No. I don't want him anywhere near Dak's ass. Okay.
No, I'm gonna say that because for one, you talked about the man so much. Some of you haters dogged him when his brother died. You talked about him when his mom died.
Okay.
Now, you got to fall on that sword.
Yep. Hold on.
Hurts season is saying,
I got to do this. I got to say thank you to Iran Elliott, Gina Thorne, and Edward Strickland have all donated. We are over $1,000 towards helping Rasheed get back on his feet. We're over $1,060. And I think I just saw the stinking New York Giants. Did I see? Oh, there he is. Thank you, everybody, for the love and support. I really appreciate it. That's great. We went over 1,000 while he was on here. Shout out to you guys because you all are the real MVPs. And we'll be giving away to Marcus Ware before the end of the show. And we'll be doing other drawings for other autograph ones. I've got Michael Irvin. I've got Tony Dorsett. I've got Diggs. I've got Charles Haley and things like that. As my wife says, I've got too much shit down here in the basement and stuff. So as I was there looking at some more souvenirs on the trip, she's like, you've got no space for anything. So I'm going to clear out some of this stuff so that way I can get some more stuff. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys. All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Game Time.
No, it was good. I was just saying, it's I see Hurts season in the chat saying he's had 7 years. He's never going to sniff a Super Bowl. Listen, you guys have won one in your whole story
career, right?
Lifetime.
How would you compare Dak against what's the quarterback from Minnesota that went to like 4 Super Bowls? One?
Fran Tarkenton.
How would you compare him to Fran Tarkenton?
Well, he's behind Fran Tarkenton. You have to get to a Super Bowl. But that's not any. That's not any.
I might have to preface it saying that they did have one of the greatest defenses in football, the Purple People Eaters there in Minnesota, and they had one hellacious home field advantage because they played outside.
So that's what I'm trying to say, people. You can say what you want. There's not many Patrick Mahomeses out there, but we act like Patrick had nothing. I understand he was beat up a little bit on the offensive line, but he had weapons. He did
and a great offensive line.
Yeah.
Those things matter.
It came together, yes.
Yeah, I'm not throwing any shade on him. He's a great quarterback.
No, yeah.
But even a great quarterback can't do it by himself. I'm telling you.
Less with him, but listen, man. I mean, you saw. It'll be interesting. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. I keep seeing all the negative from like a couple people here, and I don't know if they're who we think they are. I don't know, but you're not saying anything that makes any sense.
Okay. I'm all for. Listen, if you could get Pat Mahomes,
he sucks that bad.
Let me say this: if there was a way you could get Pat Mahomes and Dak Prescott exchange, buy Dak. I'm sorry, buy Dak. I'd do that. But these people keep saying just trade Dak. What for? What? For what?
I don't know.
I don't know what you think. Oh, we'll just draft somebody. That works. How many quarterbacks come out? You're lucky if there is one great quarterback a year in the draft. Remember Shameless Winston and Marcus Mariota, number 1 and number 2 pick? What have those two guys done? Johnny Manziel, number 1. Baker Mayfield, number 1. It ain't easy getting a quarterback.
Sam Donald.
Oh, shit. Like I said, my man over here, he's not sure. Listen, they just spent a boatload of draft picks and money. Russell Wilson, and not sure. He's hopeful for him that he's going to work out. But even Russell Wilson had one of the historically greatest defenses in history for him, and a lights out running back. Mr. Skittles. He didn't win the Super Bowl. He only had 22 touchdowns that year, passes. David Wiley, what's up, David? Thanks for the super chat. You're into the drawing as well. But you can't talk about Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson, even though Dak beat Russell Wilson in the playoffs. But what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. And Eagle, shout out to the Eagle fans out here. Let me welcome you guys properly.
Fuck them birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now we shoot those birds out of the sky. Stupid dumbasses managed to give up a 3rd and 30 to my sexy arm. Pathetic defense and team. No wonder I own those piece of shit frauds every damn year. Don't get me started on the fans. You boo me while I earned a respected award. Losing the Super Bowl was just karma for you fuckheads. I can't wait to drop 100 on your heads next season while being the daddy of the NFC East again.
There you go. Welcome, Eagle fans. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, Eagle fans. You know how much I love you guys. Like I said, if you got a better solution other than just trade Dak, then give us a real solution. Otherwise, shut up.
That's just goofy. Compared to every
Here's the deal.
quarterback that was drafted in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You know what I think?
What do you think?
This is what I think. I don't know. You tell me. We haven't won. This is coming from some of the people in the chat. We suck. We haven't done any success with Dak. So why would they want Dak not to be with us?
Mm-hmm.
They subconsciously know that Dak, he already owns them, right? He owns the NFC East. His least, actually, I guess his least record would be against the Washington left-hand ups. But he's 8-3 against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
He's never lost to Danny Dimes.
No, he's got 2 losses against them his rookie year.
Yeah, but not So it's like, what are you saying? He's horrible. Okay.
Mary, thank you for the gift membership.
I don't think he's horrible. I think, it's just like the couch. Remember, he went into Tampa.
It could be a lot worse.
Well, he went into Tampa this year and played an unbelievable game in a playoff game on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he didn't have the Giants at home and a third string quarterback at home. That it was a tight game until they got to the third string.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know who I'm talking about. So they went on the road and won. It's hard to win on the road, but then they said the Tampa sucks.
Right.
All of a sudden, Brady, who owned Dallas and going into that game, wasn't going to lose to Dallas. He was gonna. They were going to be laughing on the sideline, and Dallas blew him out. You know what I mean? Like, you see what's going on. It has something it's far deeper than Dak Prescott. It's the Cowboy hate from years back, where we're always on TV. They were always winning,
and we still are.
Yeah, we're always on TV. Exactly. I bought the through YouTube. I bought the
Sunday ticket.
Yeah, and I'm like saying to myself, I'll probably only need it. Well, I'm usually either at Mark's or I'm on live here, so I'll use it.
Yeah.
Let's face it, Dallas is going to be on most of the time. So.
I'll use it too, and it'll be, game days, but it's not really going to be for the Cowboys. It'll be to see the Giants and the Eagles.
Did you hear I don't know, because I heard you say something, and I don't know if you know what they actually allowed. They're allowing you to have unlimited TVs now.
Okay.
It's not just 4. Because they listened to the fans, and the fans were like, well, we don't like the idea that we're only limited to 4 streams, I guess, going on.
Although they do have the one where you have like 4 games on the screen, on one screen.
So basically, and they know it. They're not going to do this every year. You can give out your subscription to anybody. They're trying to get people in the door, welcome you in the door.
Well, even though they changed the June 1st, they still have $50 off until September 19th.
I made sure I took advantage of that. So I think with the red zone, it was $280.
Yeah, I tell you what, I actually like YouTube TV,
Me too.
I need to actually get rid of some of my cable boxes here, which will actually pay for it, and I don't have to have that satellite dish. The problem I had with DirecTV was you have to have a cable box, or you could stream one other game. You couldn't.
I had it,
and it was just like, so you're telling me I can only get 2 games? Fortunately, I still had Verizon, so I was kind of working it between the two. But to be able to stream now it's going to be interesting when everybody's watching and streaming if they have hiccups in the system.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. The only thing that sucks is you already talked about it. I don't have a cable anymore. My bill just got ridiculous. I have the internet through Comcast, but that's because my wife has her business, so
right
job.
Yeah, no, I'm going to hold on to that just in case.
Yeah,
I got to have a backup.
I will be on a delay, but it is what it is.
Eastside Herald is entered into it. Of course, Eastside, if he wins, won't do anything. He won't give up his address. We just got another one. Wait a minute, hold up. I can't keep up. Who else do we get?
Yeah,
Yazin.
Chris May.
Yazin
I just saw
Adola? Shout out to Yazin.
I just saw the NFC Championship ring, so they got that. I mean, you got yourself another ring. It's not a Super Bowl. It's a, to me, I wouldn't welcome that.
All right, I'm gonna be nice here for once. Okay, now listen, I'm gonna say, the Eagles. It's hard to. Okay, I don't like you. I don't at all. But, what you guys did last year, you guys, you came up aces with all of the guys that you signed on your roster and stuff. And you came so close to winning it all. I wish that had been my team. But here's my kind of question here is looking at how basically you have these carpetbagger players. Do you look at, like, say, Von Miller and Odell Beckham, if you're a Rams fan, and say, like, that you put them up there with like a Jack Youngblood, because they were there for half a year. They help you win a Super Bowl, which is great, but are they really Rams? And do the Super Bowls, when you basically are buying one, do they mean as much as when you actually build the team and that these are players that you know and love and that you're going to revere and, look back and say, yeah, he was one of our great, foundational players? I'm just asking for a friend. Because that's where it's kind of become now. It's like, players like, oh, I want to go to this team because I think that's my best chance of going to a Super Bowl. Whatever happened to me making the team or having a commitment to the team that I am about winning it here? To me, it's like there is no loyalty whatsoever. Not that there's loyalty from the teams. Am I making any sense whatsoever?
No, yeah. I'm just looking at the chat. Philadelphia. When you get a chance, look at that one.
Well, killed.
Well,
at least Jalen Hurts is a one-hit wonder. Also, Foles and McNabb. Okay, Foles won a Super Bowl. You were a wild card team. So what are you saying? Foles is better than him? Foles can't get a job. Foles sucks.
I will say, the Eagles had a loaded team when they went to that Super Bowl. They had a loaded team,
but they bought it,
and they went out and they made some moves during the season, like getting Jay Ajayi and everything else. It was a great team. It wasn't Nick Foles, because you could look at Nick Foles everywhere else he went. Nick Foles. Nick Foles did not do anything anywhere else. You had a loaded team.
But listen, I don't know why we're getting caught up in everything. Just talk to Dan Marino. He went there once, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And never got there again. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. So they need to chill out on the individual success, like in a team game. We're all saying that Jalen Hurts had a great year last year. It was the first year that he's ever done it. But,
we'll see with the book being out on him this year.
Yeah, now with the big contract, now you just can't get away with being a cheap guy who's putting. Now you need to put up stats, you need to put up wins, and you need to have teams. Everything. You just can't get away with it now. You have to. I like to see. Everybody thinks playing quarterback in Dallas is great. It's the hardest damn position in all of sport to play is the quarterback.
It's got to be a pressure
Cowboys
cooker
for exactly this reason. You get no respect other than winning it all, and this sport is too hard to do that. Shout out to the people who can win over and over and over.
But everybody keeps comparing Dak to first and second round draft picks. He's a fourth round draft pick.
At this point,
that doesn't matter.
I don't even care about
anymore.
the Rams no more. Yeah. Okay.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. You draft by talent. He's a gift, man. Stick with that.
I agree with you that he's a gift, but you can't say, I'm going to handicap him, for the rest of his career. I mean, he's made it a lot farther than a lot of the first round drafted. All these guys that were there.
It's over.
True story.
Let's judge him now. Let's judge him.
What's amazing to me is when people will say that Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott. And it's like, man, it's like, I'm sorry.
I have a question, Mark. I don't mean to interrupt the conversation, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Isaiah Land.
Mm-hmm.
I heard he was supposed to be sack king of college football this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see what's going to happen with him. Are they going to make him a linebacker or defensive end?
Yes. That's one thing the Cowboys like to be able to do is to have position flex. And the reason being is you don't know where this person's coming from. And that's what they're enjoying about Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons joking about coming from 8 different locations. They're looking at trying to confuse people and to be able to back it up with the speed and things. And this is where I'm excited as can be, because I think about this now. We've got big, fat, wide bodies on the defensive line. But not only just that, because you look at Quentin Bohannon, you look at Mozzie Smith, and you look at Hankins. Those are big guys, 300-plus guys, but they can still move. But then you throw in somebody who's like Osa Ndigazua. He's smaller, defensive tackle, great hands, and can make moves. And now you're doing things like D-Law. They've been working him down at actually defensive tackle, too. So you could turn around, and if you can imagine putting Micah Parsons on the outside, and you have Sam Williams on the outside, you put a D-Law, you put an Osa Ndigazua, and then maybe put Hankins in the middle, the amount of speed and pressure that you're going to be able to put on an offensive line is going to be crazy. And I could see them having those two guys coming from a stand-up position where they're shooting the gaps. But if you need to, we can put Quentin Bohannon down there on the defensive line. We can end up putting, Mozzie Smith down on there. We can end up putting Hankins. And now you got a half ton of fun to stop the run. So they've got these position flexions where you can move people around. It's going to be incredible.
This all goes into why Takk McKinley is not on the team.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they got with Takk McKinley. They're ecstatic with Isaiah Land. He's just shy of 6'4", 240 pounds. He played at Florida A&M.
Yeah.
You know what he did his senior year there?
What did he do?
He had 25 tackles for loss and 19 sacks. So if you're gonna play at a school like a Florida A&M
and
you want to excel. Well, he excelled. He had video game production at Florida A&M. They really like his versatility, like Mark's saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to line him up. That's what I'm saying. Dan Quinn, it just added, just give him another piece, man.
He's going to be the man.
I can see him. He's throwing it in his stew, and he's
we're going to throw it up now. I can see him going crazy with that.
Reunited with his former college teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
He's on the team down in Dallas.
I know. I'm trying to think who that is. But anyway, yeah.
He was on the practice squad last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He may make the team. He's a safety.
Okay. Yeah, so he's got a lot of skill. So
that's Bland, isn't it? Isn't that Bland?
No, Bland is from Fresno State.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing that drives me crazy about Cowboy fans, that people don't even realize that we literally have turned over the roster without having, losing seasons. Although, you could say 2020 when we lost Dak. But we have turned over the roster. Remember what our defensive line and our safeties used to look like in 2020? You know how bad our defensive line and our safety core was?
Diggs changed all of that.
Look at our defense right now. I mean, the fact you got rid of Anthony Brown, who wasn't bad, he wasn't great. He is the one that they picked on because of Diggs, and you get a Stephon Gilmore, and you got 3 safeties that could also basically play linebacker too on your heavy packages, and now you've got a defensive front that's not undersized and getting blown away, or a tackle that's trying to play nose.
And that's going to help us this
That's going to be incredible. And you've got Micah Parsons, one of the most dynamic, players in the NFL out there with it. And we've got so many guys, and I know this has happened to you a lot of time, game time. You forget, oh man, we got Dante Fowler. I forgot about that guy, and Dorrance Armstrong. And
I'm not staring at the players, and it's really going to be interesting, especially with the one cut coming at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see. You'll know who's on the edge of being off the roster by who they're playing in the preseason, because that's the only way you're going to win the spot.
And some of these guys that get cut off of this defense will be starters on other teams.
Yeah, it's going to be that good. Just kind of it makes you look back with their last defensive coordinator, Rod Marinelli. They gave him way too much power when it comes to drafting players. Everybody wants to say Jerry does all
Taco
the
Charlton.
Yeah, no, Jerry does not do all the picking. Jerry actually relies too much. Instead of relying on the scouts, he'll listen to the coaches. The only thing we all love Dan Quinn, so we're willing to put up with it. Dan Quinn hasn't been bulletproof either, though. I mean, I don't know how much he had to, we can't couch it. We did draft Calvin Joseph. Looks like he may not be on the squad.
But nobody's 100%. You could look at New England. Right. New England was not good with their, higher picks, but they were always lights out later in the draft.
They always go in the second round. They always want to shoot for the moon with a first round talent with issues.
Yeah.
And you get what you pay for type of deal, It's one of those type of
I haven't heard much about how he's looking as, because I know they've been trying to play him some at safety. And to me, I know he played safety in college and stuff like that, but it's kind of like we're trying to find a spot for him so that way we can't say we messed up on this pick. That's what it says to me.
Well, the only thing is he is literally one of our better special teams players. Listen, you could sit there and say, well, he's a second-round pick. You need to get more. I agree. But at the end of the day, we lost a lot of special teams. So if he's willing to bust his butt on special teams and be a rotational guy, then so be it. It's going to be interesting because him, Nashawn Wright, there's a lot of guys fighting for spots.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be very interesting to see this year. I hope everybody stays healthy so we actually pick the best.
Enormous says Cowboys defense better hold teams to 15 or under. They still have O-line. Still have no O-line. We didn't have an O-line last year, but we were getting 31 points a game.
Yeah, we led the league in scoring with no O-line. Our problem was running the ball, which is why we're going to this new offense. And it has a lot has to be proven. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me go ahead.
J Network says Kelvin Joseph is playing at the nickel. Very possible.
It could be, but look at all the people that are ahead of him. Sure. Okay, he may not see the field except for special teams. All right, so let me say to everybody who has donated and done a super chat and everything else to help out Rashid, we are over $1,000. That will go a long ways into helping him, and we're going to go ahead and give away DeMarcus Ware autographed. Look at this piece right here. Look at that. Oh man, signed by D. Ware himself. We're going to pick from the names of the people who donated or did the super chats. And if you don't win this time, don't worry. While we have the GoFundMe up, everybody who's done a donation, you still will be eligible for the other drawings as well. And I've got a lot of these plaques that we're going to be giving away. And I believe DMV, he said he had some stuff that he wanted to do too, help donate to help out Rashid as well. So I'm going to hold him to it. So, all right. So we got our winner for this one. Mike Thompson. Mike Thompson, I'll email you on the thank you and say you are the winner of our first drawing on there. And if you guys do want to help out, anything will help Rashid, and we'll enter you in the drawing and stuff. The link is in the is pinned up there in the comments, and I will also put it into the community tab if you want to help out, and we will be sure to add you guys in. So tomorrow night we'll do another drawing at my live stream. So thank everybody for that. So final thoughts as we go down the line here on the Cowboys. We still have that $20 million. We're still working on Diggs' contract. We're still working on CeeDee Lamb's, and they're probably working on Dak's too, which will actually give them more cap money.
And they're working on Pollard as we speak because they got that July 17th deadline. So they're working on Pollard to try and get an extension because he's basically back to 100%. But yeah, they could very well.
The question is, though, do you want to? I mean, you could do that and get more money.
Either way, but that'll drop his number.
You start looking at, well, the question is what would you settle for?
I would say, yeah. Well, he's not getting a lot. So, yeah, if you're going to say 3 years.
21 million? You think he's going to take that knowing he's getting 10?
Maybe guaranteed to be 21. I would say 3 years, 30 million, 24 guaranteed, 20, something like that. I would say, yeah, do it. That's fine. It's a far cry from the 70 that we paid Zeke over his career. So, I would say do it. And that'll bring that cap number down to almost nothing this year. It won't be 10. It'll be what?
Well,
2,
but here's
3?
the thing. Let's look at it
and
real
then we
quick.
could sign our boys.
All right. So here's the thing. You've got Christian McCaffrey at 16, the highest paid right now, average. Alvin Kamara, who might be in jail, at 15. Okay, again, another old one. Derrick Henry, 12.5. Nick Chubb at 12.2. Joe Mixon at 12. Aaron Jones at 11.5. He only has 2 years left on his, or I think this is the last year of his. And then it's Tony Pollard. So, and Josh Jacobs, of course, he's basically trying to hold the line for running backs. After that, it drops down to $7 million for a running back for James Conner. Miles Sanders only got 6.3. So do we think that he's worth more than Miles Sanders?
Yeah, slightly. Yeah.
Miles Sanders is a 4-year deal, $25 million. Okay,
that's about what you're looking at.
That's what I said. So 3 years, 21 is what I was saying.
Okay, that's it's I'm not going to give you the exact number. You're in the ballpark. Yeah, I think they would do that. You lower his number.
But if you're him, okay. But here's the thing, though. If you're him, and I'm getting $10 million this year, do I look and say I'm going to get a contract for 3 years for 21?
That you got, if you can, it's all about the guaranteed number. That injury that you got, just a couple months ago, could end your career next time. So yes, you do that. You take the guaranteed money. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. Are you seeing the running back positions salary, going to explode again?
No, I think the salary. I think the franchise tag is going to go down.
I was mistaken when I said the Saquon signed his tender. I was told I was on the
he hasn't.
That he did. Now I'm hearing he didn't. Hey, if I'm the Giants, I pull that tender. Say, all right, buddy. You hit the street. I'll go and get one of these other guys. It's.
Well, that's where I look and say
the tender with Pollard in the beginning. I was not a fan of it, but it's not my money, so whatever. Let's ride.
Well, Brian, let me ask you this one: if you knew that Dalvin Cook was going to be cut, would you have still done the franchise tag on Tony Pollard?
I would have done the franchise tag. I'm on record to say I would not have. I would have brought him back on a cheaper deal.
Yeah.
So no, I would not have. He's not the only one available. There's a lot of running backs to be had. If you want Derrick Henry, you could get him.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that's what I want, but and like wherever these guys go, that's going to free up other guys, and we're not even getting to a training camp where this guy's going to be released. There's going to be running backs falling off of trees. So especially in the West Coast where you really don't want a bell cow. But if you're telling me I can get Pollard, who's going to fit really good in a passing attack.
Amanda McGrew, gotcha.
I'm good with that,
Okay.
So, whatever. I'm just saying, you know, that's what they're like. You were talking about contracts. They're actually actively that's the one person that they're under a time crunch to try and get something worked out.
Yeah.
Do I think they will work it out? No, I don't think they will. I think he will play on the tag, but I wouldn't be against it if he could save some money. If that's going to help me sign Diggs, if that's going to help me sign Dak, if that's going to help me sign CD Lamb this year, I'll be. If we can get those three done,
yeah,
I would be ecstatic.
Well, the Cowboys, here's the thing. The Cowboys can get money. I mean, there's Jordan Lewis, who's going to end up being on, not ready to start the season.
Yeah, he's
you've got him. You've got, of course, Dak's contract you can do something with. You've got, of course, Tony Pollard. I mean, they could turn around and end up having about $40 million of cap space.
Yeah, I look at why do that with Jordan Lewis right now? You don't need that money. Like I said, if you do these deals, you're going to have plenty of money. You saw what happened midway through the year. As much as I love Eric Scott, everything I'm hearing about Eric Scott is unbelievable. We love Bland, not to mention our two Pro Bowl cornerbacks. You never know. Last year we were scrambling, right? With injury, we were scrambling for cornerbacks. We had to put McQuamu out there, and he did a hell of a job. So I always like having that extra guy if he's on PUP or if he's on the
yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah,
on the IR, don't get rid of him, man. I like Jordan Lewis. We really don't need that $4.5 million. There's other ways to get it. Just I want to be ready for next year because Mike is going to reset the market. They know they're paying him, big time money. So if he can get all these guys done, that would be great.
Yep. All right. Well, I actually have some company here at the house, so I need to go ahead and spend some time with my people. Okay. They came by to see us. We've got the stinking New York Giant fan who is very, very grateful for all of the assistance. We are over $1,000 already. And let me say I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I know he does. I'll probably be going over to see him again tomorrow, or he's maybe getting out tomorrow. We hope that he is. And what we want him to be able to do is focus in on just getting better and getting rid of some of the other pressures that he has going on right now. So if you do want to help out and be entered in the drawings and stuff, the link is up there pinned at the top at the moment, and I will put it into the community tab as well, and also I have it posted on Facebook as well. So thank everybody so much on that. Final thoughts from everybody as we get ready to get out of here?
Defense.
Offense and defense. Get the offensive line ready.
This is what I'm going to say. Just based on, the chat, it's the normal guys. Twiz knows he's my guy, he's very respectful, and, Elena. Listen, man, you guys are writing some major checks. I think you're going to be good as far as the Eagles are concerned, but the pressures are on Hurts this year. If he goes back to the Super Bowl this year, then I'll bow down. I'll kneel before his eyes.
Well, eat crow.
I'll eat it. But until that happens, until you do what is almost impossible to do, okay, let's go, man. Let's go.
There
Dallas
you go.
Versus Eagles. So.
I'm going to say fast and physical. That's what this team is going to be. They're going to be fast and they're going to be physical.
And Mark, can I add something?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to add that I got a feeling I might be adding somebody this week.
I feel like that Jerry. I feel like that myself too. Now, I don't know if it'll be a Hopkins or a Dalvin Cook and things like that that's speculated, but it would not surprise me if the Cowboys did make another big move, but it'll be cost-effective type move that'll be one of those ones that just kind of shock you. I agree with you on that one 100%.
I think we're going to pick up somebody, but when we do, if we do, it's going to happen unexpectedly. It'll catch everybody off guard. And I think the name is gonna catch everybody off guard too.
Yeah. It's almost funny because as you go through and you look at the shows and everything else, the Cowboys, we're not the hot topic that we used to be. Of course, it's the Jets with Aaron Rodgers and how happy he is at being at training camp and everything. The most fun he's had in years and stuff, and how much he loves his backup quarterback who's not hurting him. It's of course the Eagles and how great they are, and Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback since Joe Montana and everything else. And it's kind of like we're kind of blasé, and because I don't think they can really find a lot of negative things to say about the Cowboys, other than this guy, the Cowboys should trade for this guy, that guy, and bring Zeke back. Other than that, and Mike McCarthy is ass. That Kellen Moore was great.
Darn, Mark, and I'm gonna be at that game too.
Which one?
The Cowboys and Jets.
Okay.
That's good. That's the second game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we can get the Aaron Rodgers thing off of our back. All right.
We need to.
Let me say goodbye to the Eagle fans, and I appreciate you guys.
Fuck them birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now we shoot those birds out of the sky. Stupid dumbasses managed to give up a 3rd and 30 to my sexy arm. Pathetic defense and team. No wonder I own those piece of shit frauds every damn year. Don't get me started on the fans. You boo me while I earned a respected award. Losing the Super Bowl was just karma for you fuckheads. I can't wait to drop 100 on your heads next season while being